This is the Warrior Goddess Saga, and this is your Warrior Goddess Weekly, your wellness horoscope transmission for the week ahead to help you with nervous system, healing, understanding wellness alchemy, and also overcoming any sort of self-sabotaging patterns, limiting belief, that subconscious energy that might be going on right now for you and your Warrior Goddess archetype. We're also joined in my little office studio today by Happy Dog, who is chewing on the floor beside me. So if you can hear that, I apologize, but he is better to be chewing than barking, and he's our little mascot for today and this week's energy. So I want to talk about why we're going to be talking about rituals, not resolutions, but I want to talk or call to a little or speak to a little of the energy that we've just come out of. So we've just come out of that new moon energy where there is a stillness, a quietness, yes. And we've got that seeding energy because we're also in that transition, those couple of weeks heading up to Imbolc, which is really the festival of the first little sprouts of spring. I always envision this little small sprout, bursting through the soil to test whether it's okay to come out into the world, and that winter is behind us. But we're still in that winter phase and that darkness, that new moon energy where it's about reflection, where it's about reviewing and staying in that stillness, right? Going inward, being quiet. This matters because resolutions right now are more like outward declarations. Whereas we want you to think about the rituals, which are more inward agreements. They're inward agreements for you to show up in a certain way for yourself. And it's not about looking outwards. It's not about outward approval, showing the world, being showy, being performative, right? So the energy supports this, setting the tone, the intention and rhythm of what's going on with this week. A new moon doesn't ask, what are you going to do? It asks, what are you willing to tend to? And this is what we want to tend to this week. We're deep in midwinter and the light is slowly returning. We're post-solstice, but we're just before that Imbolc Sabbath, that the 1st to 2nd, it's actually the 1st of February this year, which a lot of energies are converging on that 1st of February. And I'm going to be inviting you to a very special event and a very special 3-day event. So watch out for that. But it's about the light coming back to us incrementally, right? So the body is beginning to feel that return of the light, but our nervous system, it's still wintering, okay? So it does feel a little bit of a mismatch. So you might be feeling that energy. You might be like, I should be ready, but I'm not. I want to kind of start doing more, but I'm still really tired. Feeling the weight and energy of the winter and the storms and that sort of energy, right? It's for you to find the rituals that match your own pace for this season. Energetically, it's like a testing phase. Small actions, gentle friction. No commitment yet, right? Like experimentation, trying certain things out. This week is about you choosing how you're going to show up. Not looking or not locking yourself into those hard and sturdy and resolutions that just feel so black and white, right? Remember, resolutions, outcome focused. They're outward focused. Rituals are inward focused. They are regulation based. They're based on where your nervous system is at in the season and energy of what's going on. So although resolutions want to say, I will change myself and I will change myself now, rituals say, I will meet myself where I'm at repeatedly, right? It's that cyclical kind of, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly kind of rhythm that our body falls into. This is so important during midlife because with perimenopause and our menopause, nervous system regulation is key because our nervous system is so sensitive, right? Hormones get out of balance very quickly. You find yourself very stress reactive. So you need to make sure that your nervous system becomes balanced during that time. And rituals build trust. They build a sense of self-trust, what we call our alchemy anchor, which is building that inner promise with yourself. And resolutions often trigger, I don't know about you, but rebellion and shutdown, right? When we feel that external force to do something, especially if you're an ADHD like myself, I have, demand avoidance. So if you tell me what I think I should do, or a resolution is telling me what you think I should do, I'm not going to do that. No, I'll literally rebel rather than actually even evaluate if it's something that I want. So what does this look like for each of the warrior goddess archetypes? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. If you want to know more and want to know your own warrior goddess archetype, you can enter the Warrior Goddess Saga. Go to thewarriorgoddesssaga.com, thewarriorgoddesssaga.com. You don't need the W's, just thewarriorgoddesssaga.com. You will find the quiz, the quest, and the quickening. And the quiz will help you to determine your warrior goddess archetype, which is not just your strengths, but also how you may self-sabotage yourself in terms of wellness and the goals that you're looking to achieve. Yeah, any sort of changes and transformations you're looking to make. So for the seeker, my seekers out there, resolutions feel like I should know what I want by now, right? I like these firm and fast resolutions, right? I over-research, I over-commit, I fall into that comparison, what is everybody else doing, scrolling through the Instagram, scrolling through all of those things, and you come up feeling short, feeling behind, feeling less than, judging yourself, and stealing all of the joy, right? That's basically what happens. It's the thief of joy comparison. And that is what happens. So for a seeker, we're constantly seeking outside of ourselves. And it really needs for you to turn that focus inward. Now, what do we have for the seeker during this time? The quest of the seeker is the momentum map. The opposite to just continually seeking is taking action, clear, focused action in the right direction. The seeker has a map. You need to find your map, and your map is your momentum map. Why is it momentum? You need to constantly measure where you're going as a seeker, or you'll stay lost. A seeker, it's really good for you to turn inwards, and one of the exercises in the momentum map is for you to determine your values, what's important to you, who you are, because that can become your compass to help you to read the map and to get the momentum towards your goals. God, I love a good analogy, metaphor. Never knew what the difference between those are. Okay, so what this season is actually asking for you is, I don't want you to seek clarity at this point. Stay curious, okay? I want you to be more in the ritual of noticing what's important to me. Where do I spend my time? What do I want more of, right? And this might look like journaling. Yes, it will. The momentum map will help you with what you want to put together with that. But also tracking your energy. We have this as part of in the Warrior Goddess Saga team. Energy alignment based practices. What is my energy aligned to do? What is my energy like today? What can I do with that energy? And simply asking yourself better questions. What's important to me? Yeah. So seekers don't need, a solid, written, documented, carved out in stone plan right now. They need permission to not know exactly where they're going, but to stay curious and to start building the map. Yeah. Okay, warrior. Resolutions still feel that pressure to push. Warriors feel like they're part of a hierarchy, and often the leaders in that tribe or the community as warriors are constantly telling them what to do, and there is that feel to push. But we need to not just realize that our discipline is not our self-worth, okay? That discipline is not completely who you are. So if I don't start strong, I'll fail. This is what you're feeling, and I get that. So what we want from you is, yes, for you to still keep your strength, but we need strategic restraint, okay? What do we mean by that? This is about the strategy. It's not about burning out. It's not about overdoing, overcommitting. Choosing when not to fight is just as important of choosing when to fight, right? We call this also the law of diminishing returns. For a warrior, this is your law. Double the effort does not equal double the results. You can achieve more with less. Yeah? Doing less can actually help you achieve more of your goals. And it's really hard for the warrior to hear that. So we want to create rituals that preserve your energy. Sleep, warmth, shorter workouts. I know. I say this all the time to you warriors and you're like, no. So standing down in winter isn't weakness, it's tactical intelligence, right? Have you ever known a army go to war in the winter and win? Probably not, especially not in Russia. There's lots of documents about armies in the war that weren't equipped to go through winter, right? They weren't fueled, they didn't have the right equipment, hypothermia, all of these things. So you can't do battle in winter and win. So standing down in winter isn't weakness, it's tactical intelligence, okay? Alchemists, how resolutions feel to you right now? You've got a subtle resistance. Now, let's talk about resistance. Let's talk about alignment, because alignment is an alchemist's feeling word, right? We tend to take action as alchemists when we are aligned, right? But what does that actually mean? And if we are aligned, will there be resistance? Alignment is simply that something aligns with your values, with your energy, and with your goals, okay? But it doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be resistance. So if you do want to achieve your goals, you will need to understand that resistance is part of the plan, right? Resistance is simply you moving up against something that you have never done before, that you maybe haven't built the skills for, that you maybe don't have experience over, or that your energy isn't quite in the right space for that particular task at that time. But that doesn't mean that it's never going to be there, and you can align your actions to your energy based on where you're at in your cycles and your day, etc. So feeling something brewing inside you, but you not feeling ready. So if you're feeling the pull of the in bulk season coming through, the little sprouts coming up, but yet you know that you're still deep in winter, the alchemist can feel like they've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Something's brewing, but you're not ready. So this frustration at not feeling productive could be coming through. And one thing that alchemists do not like is resistance or frustration or being thwarted, right? They generally will then say, then that's not for me. That's not right for me. They'll automatically assume that if they meet resistance, that means that it's not aligned and therefore it's not for them. It's not the right time, okay? So the season is actually asking you for rituals of containment. So trying to stay within your energy and nervous system regulated fields. So we want to stay regulated. We want to keep our energy high or buffered, okay? And in that way, you need to create and sustain rituals that do that. Now, some days that might feel harder than others because you don't have the energy to back it up based on your menstrual cycle, based on your sleeping cycle, based on just energetically where we're at, the heaviness. So you want to focus more on symbolic practices, things that you feel a sense of movement and movement forward based on the goals and also the energy you have at that time. I also would say energy management and energy measurement is a really cool thing. So start to notice when you have rise and falls in your energy, whether that be tracking your menstrual cycle, whether that be tracking the moon cycle, whether that be tracking just, on a day-to-day basis, how you feel out of 10 and what activities you could align to that, right? And then letting ideas gestate without taking action or naming them or stepping into them, okay? Just think about it. Just, ruminate, but do it from a place that feels good for you in terms of being able to just sit in it for a bit, if that makes sense. So alchemy doesn't happen on a deadline, right? There is no time constraints here for you. It's for you to feel into the alignment, work with the energy and the rise and falls of the energy. And, it doesn't have to be done tomorrow, right? Yeah. The guardian. Okay. How resolutions feel to you? Yes. It's just another responsibility. It's another item on that never-ending to-do list. It's another thing to hold. It's another thing to be burdened by. Often there's quiet resentment or exhaustion going on with even more resolutions to be looking at. So the season's actually asking you for rituals of being held, looking after you, taking care of you, receiving instead of managing. Boundaries around energy leaks. So where do you feel your energy leaking on a regular basis? How can you look at where that's going at, right? Whether that be boundaries of communication with relationships, whether that be starting to track where your energy is, track where your time is, where you're spending time for you versus others. Guardians don't need better goals. They need rest without justification. That's what you guys need. So I want you to think about what that means for you and your archetype. Again, if you want to find out your archetype, go to thewarriorgoddesssaga.com, choose the quiz option, start with the quiz, and then you can work your way into your quests. What I would say is that if you are looking for rituals, wellness alchemy rituals, you can choose the quest of the Alchemist to download a shortened version of our Wellness Alchemy Grimoire. The fuller version is now available in the Consistency Coven, which is so cool. But the Wellness Alchemy Grimoire gives you daily practices, daily rituals for your wellness that are not deadline based, that are not resolution based. They're about helping you to feel better, have daily focus on you and your health, your wellness, and things that you can do in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes to help you to feel better, to feel the way that you want to feel. Okay. And I want you to remember that we're not in a season of proving. This is not performance in winter. It's a season of preparing, right? Rituals create the rhythm. The rhythm creates the safety, and safety is what makes consistency possible later. So if you're burning out in January or even February, that is not a good sign. You've pushed too hard too fast. If you're starting to get sick or injured, that's how you know that you're burning out. If you're exhausted and it's still the middle of winter and you haven't had enough time to rest and recover after the festive season, then you are going to have a slow start and start not strong at the beginning of the year. So if resolutions make your body tense, right, rituals will make it soften, okay? That's wisdom. It's not weakness. If the Warrior Goddess Weekly spoke to you, if you are thinking about ways that you can begin to have a nervous system and identity reawakening, just know we will be opening the doors to a live version of the quickening starting on the 1st of February in bulk, and we will be putting up a wait list for you guys to join. If you go to warriorgoddesskettlebelltraining.com/quickening, or you can just choose the quickening option when you enter the Warrior Goddess Saga, the warriorgoddesssaga.com, choose quickening. You can join our wait list so that you'll be the first to know when that drops and goes live, because we know that now is the time for us to be focused on rituals over resolutions and to serve each of our different archetypes in the way that they need to be served and held, and help them with their next steps, with goals, feeling better, with transformation, with the changes that you want to make in 2026. So I hope that was interesting. I hope that you got a lot out of it. I hope that you'll come and find out your Warrior Goddess archetype, and indeed come and join us for the live version of the quickening. And until then, we will be back on the podcast. If you're listening on the podcast, the Goddess Got Goals podcast, this Thursday for our usual episode. And we will be dropping the Warrior Goddess Weekly again with our weekly wellness horoscope in your inbox every single Sunday. So make sure that you sign up for that as well. You can join us in our tribe community. Go over to warriorgoddesskettlebelltraining.com/tribe to join our tribe community, where we drop this on a regular basis, and you will be the first to get the details. All right. So I shall see you, or hear you, or you'll hear me, same time, same place next week. And remember, it's all about you entering the Warrior Goddess era. You become the warrior goddess you were born to be.